Welcome back to the Second and Short podcast. I'm Josiah.
I'm Christian.
I'm Hayden.
I'm Cooper.
For those of you who like to listen to audio only, the link will be in the description on the YouTube.
Yeah, and let's not waste any time. Let's introduce our special guest, Mercyhurst baseball player, Mercyhurst comm student, and certified Yinzer, Tim Quinn.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you, boys. Thank you.
So today, obviously, just like always, quarterbacks are a hot button issue. A lot of them are going to be out there available. It's going to be musical chairs. Let's see where they end up. We're going to do a snake draft, drafting which quarterback we would want to just start out, which situation. So there are a few different options, obviously, via draft. Guys like Caleb Williams, Drake May, Jaden Daniels. Did I say Jaden Daniels twice? All right, well, there we go. Michael Penix, Bo Nix, free agency, Kirk Cousins, Baker Mayfield, but then also via trade. Russell Wilson, probably going to get cut, but right now he's available via trade. There are also flyers that you could take on guys like Sam Howell, Desmond Ridder, but we're just going to go with a nice snake draft. Josie, do you want to kick us off?
I was hoping you weren't going to give me the first pick, but I'll take it. The reason I was hoping you weren't going to give me the first pick is because I don't know that I'm as high as Caleb Williams. I don't know that I'm as high on Caleb Williams as everybody else is. But I don't know how I could have this pick and not take him. For me, it's really between him and Kirk. And when you look at the age and like things like that, like if I'm a franchise, like I have to go with the young guy at that. I mean, a guy who has excelled at basically every level he's played at, who like I have no reason to believe that he's going to be a bust. But I also like Kirk's production in the last like 3 or so years that he's been producing at a very high rate, but at the same time, not a lot of playoff success and things like that. So, I mean, I don't know how there's a way I couldn't take Caleb Williams here. So that's my pick.
I mean, yeah, you have arguably the next Mahomes, so
I mean,
can't
that's
really
what they
argue
say.
with it.
My turn.
Your turn.
I'm going to go a little crazy here. I'm going to go Kyler Murray. I think
Going the trade route. Wow.
I think he had a very underrated year. I think that if you put him in a really good scheme, he will torch it. And also, he had like nobody this year, receiver. So he played really well. He came back from that ACL injury too. I used to not like him, but this year I think he proved his doubters wrong and that he's a quarterback.
So you would rather trade for Kyler Murray than draft any of those quarterbacks available, sign Kirk Cousins?
I don't want to sign Kirk when he's that old, no. And he came back from Achilles injury. I'm high on the rookies, but also I still have question marks with Jaden Daniels, Drake May. I still have question marks, and I wasn't as high on Caleb Williams.
Would you have taken Caleb if you had the first pick?
I feel like I would have had to, like you did, and I would have took him. But yeah,
Well, I did not know that you were a big Kyler Murray fan. Tim, you had a reaction. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I'm out on Kyler Murray. Me myself personally, I'm not a Kyler Murray fan. I think he's a bust. I would not have picked him up. He could have had me at the last pick of this draft, and if he's still there, I'm drafting myself to a team. I don't think that Kyler Murray is a guy.
Yeah. Kyler Murray is a pre-November guy. Whenever Call of Duty comes out, it's over. So as long as you have a contingency plan in place for whenever Call of Duty comes out, fine, take him. He's going to play really well up until that point. So,
Well, that certainly just threw a wrench in the whole entire draft board. Picking number 3, this is the perfect spot for me. I'm shocked Kirk Cousins is still available. I thought he was probably going to be a top 2 selection, and he's going to stay available. Josie, you know I'm a huge Drake May guy. He's my favorite quarterback in the draft. I am highly concerned, though, about Merrill Hodges and Kurt Benkert's analysis of him having a slow release. I think Kurt Benkert called him a more athletic, but Mason Rudolph with less arm talent, which is not the most glowing endorsement, but I am a Drake May guy through and through. I'm going to grab him here.
I'm still shocked by the pickup of Kyler Murray. Still shocked at it. He gives me just the same impression of a Mason Rudolph, which I've dealt with and so many others have. Which he's on the board. Anybody wants him, go for it. He's so good. Give me Baker Mayfield all the way. Easy pickup for me. I had him written down, I think, as the draft started, wrote him down. He's my guy. I like Baker. I think he gives me Detroit Lion vibes of I'm going to play with my heart on my sleeve. I'm going to go 110% and start headbutting people when I have my helmet off. I'm all about Baker Mayfield. I'd be shocked if he didn't get a starting role. I think he's got some really good spots to go. As a Steeler fan, I'm taking Baker Mayfield right now and putting Kenny on the bench, and I'm a huge Kenny Pickett fan.
So we've talked about it before, Tim. Obviously, Tampa Bay has some decisions to make. Antoine Winfield, Mike Evans, and Baker all scheduled to hit free agency. Can only use the tag on one of them. Do you think realistically, yes, it would be nice to see Baker in the black and yellow, but he's staying in Tampa, right? Is that via tag, you think, or do you think he does end up leaving?
I don't know. I don't know that they use the tag on him. I don't. He's not coming to Pittsburgh. Realistically, I know he's not coming to Pittsburgh. There's a lot of other options. But I don't think he'll end up staying in Tampa for one reason or other. Like you said, they're losing a lot of guys. I think it would make sense for them to try to go up and get somebody young, whether that's the draft or whatever. But I just don't see him sticking around there. I think he'll bounce somewhere else and have another playoff run. Maybe a 2-3 year deal sort of thing. I don't see him sticking there. It'd be weird to me if they did it and then they keep him and lose Mike Evans or something like that. So I think if you're losing both of them or losing just one of them, I think you got to lose both of them.
Cooper, how are you going to wrap up round one?
I'm going to wrap up round one with a question to you. Did you do Drake May or Jaden Daniels? I can't remember.
I did Drake May.
Okay, thank you. I thought so. So I'm going to go with Jaden Daniels here just because of him at LSU. And we know how LSU quarterbacks come out of the draft with Joe Burrow. I think they're prepared for the league. And then I think he's going to do good with whatever team he goes to.
Yeah. So after round one, Josie goes Caleb Williams, Christian goes Kyler Murray, I go Drake May, Tim goes Baker Mayfield, and then Cooper goes Jaden Daniels. Was I crazy to think that Kirk Cousins was going to be a top 2 pick? I
would have picked him. I would have picked him right where you were, honestly. If Baker wasn't there and Kirk was, I would have been happy with a Kirk Cousins pickup. I'm a big Kirk Cousins fan. I like a good pocket passer. He gets the job done for me. I think you can build a very good team, a very successful team around Kirk. So yeah, I think it's a good pick. He definitely should have gone in this first round of 5. He's one of the best available guys out there.
I'm shocked he wasn't taken because I was talking about taking him in the first pick. Like I'm definitely shocked for sure. So,
all right, Cooper, let's see if the Cousins drop stops right here. How are you going to start round 2 off?
He is actually going to drop. So I'm going to head with Russell Wilson here. Kind of the same reason of what Tim was saying last time with Kirk Cousins and how you can build a good team around him. I just see Russell Wilson being more of a long time in the future type of guy. His mobility, he's been relatively healthy the last couple years. And I see teams, he didn't have a bad season this year.
Not horrible. He played pretty well.
Exactly. I don't know why teams are writing him off, to be completely honest. As a Steelers fan, I would like to see the Steelers grab him. I don't know if that's how all the Steelers fans feel, but that's probably my number one guy right now who I want the Steelers to sign.
No, and I think if Russell's serious about playing for the vets minimum, then that's a steal for everybody because he might, not exactly let Russ cook anymore, but the guy still showed he had some mobility. Once he was able to cut some weight, played really good football, and almost any quarterback at $1.2 million is a steal. He's going to be hungry. Hard to argue if you're a team that needs a quarterback to not be interested in him.
Yeah, that was my pick right there. If he didn't take it, Russ is an easy pickup. I feel like for a lot of teams, he's been there. He's taken teams deep. You know what I mean? Like he knows how to get things done. Maybe not what he once was, but I think it's still a good pickup to have. Same thing as like a Kirk Cousins. He's that veteran presence, and if you get him for vet men, like
Steelers were talking about picking him up before he even got traded to the Broncos too.
Yeah, I think it would have been a good pickup. I'm seeing 2 guys right now that I could go between, but I think my other choice is still going to be here next time because he gets slept on too much. I want to say Justin Fields right now. I'll take him. I like Justin Fields. It goes against what I just said with Kirk, where I like a good pocket passer. I just think Justin Fields is put in a bad spot. And I think a lot of quarterbacks are, and that's why they don't succeed. I like the way he plays. I think he can be very good if used properly. And if you give him a a proper backfield and some targets to throw to that actually can catch, not Chase Claypool, then I think you got a good quarterback there, somebody who can get you to the playoffs at least. And when that happens, who knows?
I'm rooting for Marvin Harrison to go to the Bears and the Bears trade back. That's what I'm rooting for right now.
So you think they keep Fields, trade back to get?
That's what I would like to see happen because I do think Fields he has potential.
Yeah.
I mean, he plays for the Bears.
Can't
So-
forget it.
Yeah.
The Bears.
Bears. Bear
Did
down.
you say it that way on purpose? Or?
No, I didn't.
Well, you did a good job.
Thank you.
I mean, I don't even need to analyze my pick. I'm going Kirk Cousins. I mean, what the heck? Like, I said it multiple times. Goes number 2. Guess not. End up getting him at what?
8.
5, 6,
Like 8.
7. Yeah,
Yeah.
I get him at the 8th overall pick. Steal the draft.
I was kind of
Yeah.
There was a glimmer of hope that he was going to make it to me at this point, which I'm upset he didn't. But at the same time, like I was going to literally say, like I'm shocked that he made it to me.
I actually thought he already went, which is why I didn't pick him up.
I was wondering. I wasn't
I
going to say
did just sing his
anything,
praises.
but
No, you know what? I'm happy with Justin Fields though. Kirk's a great quarterback though. It's a good pick, especially at 8. If you can get Kirk Cousins for cheap, if you can get him for a good deal, especially coming off injury, I think he'll not go for the biggest deal. I think it'll be a really good
What is
pickup
he?
for a lot of teams.
38 now?
He might be 47, something like that. Yeah, he's old. No, he's getting up there, but I think he can still play a couple more years.
Christian.
Between 2 right now, I think I'm going to go with Bo Nix here. I think he's very
It's a good pick.
seasoned with all those years he played in college. I think that he's really good. At first, I did not think before this year happened in college football, I didn't think he was that good of a quarterback. I think he's, again, proved that his doubters wrong. Like, I think that he played very well. He was obviously in the Heisman. I think he should have got Heisman. I don't know. I think his play this year speaks for himself. Even though he didn't play that good at the Senior Bowl, I mean, a lot of the quarterbacks didn't. So, I mean, we'll see what he does, but I think that he is one of the top quarterbacks. I like J.J. McCarthy, but I think he's better.
So my original thought here was going to be Fields, but obviously Tim took him, which is fine. Pipe dream that Kirk Cousins would have gone to this spot. But so I do have one guy in mind, but I can't justify taking him in the second round. But I have 2 picks in a row, so it doesn't matter. So in the second round now, I'm actually going to take a flyer on a guy who's a top 3 pick that didn't pan out. Ended up getting traded for basically nothing. I'm going to go Trey Lance here.
Wow.
I know it's wild, but here's the thing. Like, the dude has talent. Okay. We know that, like, the 49ers, from what we've heard, don't treat their quarterbacks well, particularly, and he might not have thrived in their system. Injuries obviously plagued him very early in
Mr.
his
Irrelevant's
career.
doing just fine. So, I mean,
Hey,
Could win
but
the
he's
Super Bowl,
also on
though.
a baby contract that is like less than $1 million.
I just feel as though Trey Lance hasn't gotten a solid chance yet either.
He sat his whole first year. He got injured in his first game, right? Second
And
game,
after he got
something like that?
injured, they just wrote him off.
Yeah, like I feel like
almost
there's
took him to the
still
Super Bowl.
whether
there's
it's
still
fair
too
or not,
much.
though, do you really think that there's anything there at this point?
There's not enough on tape to tell you whether there's or not. And that's my point. That, like, I'm not saying he's going to be great. What I'm saying is there's not enough on tape to tell you whether he's going to be good or not. And if he's available there with the 10th pick, why wouldn't I take him with the 10th pick so far in this draft? So
Probably because he's not the greatest quarterback. You know what I mean? I don't know.
I mean, who's
There's
better?
not enough, there's not
Hendon
enough tape on me for
Yeah.
him. Maybe we can play quarterback. I mean,
Yeah, I don't know.
Is Hendon Hooker any better? Like,
well, no, I didn't say that you should take Hendon Hooker here either, but I mean,
you're really not going to like this next pick.
all right, well, first let's recap the second round. Cooper, how did you start us off?
I took Jaden Daniels, and the reason for that is just because of his LSU.
No,
took
you
Russ.
did.
You
All
took
right,
Russ.
so Cooper
You
took
took Russ.
Russell Wilson
You took
to
Russ.
start the
And
second.
Tornadoes.
Oh yes, because I had 2 in a row. Yes, okay. I took Russell Wilson.
Just zoned out after his
Okay,
pick.
yeah.
Then I took Baker in the first, and I took Justin Fields in the second. I think this is shaping up to be the greatest Madden team of all time. I think I'm going to go play with this team tonight, actually.
I took Kirk Cousins. I stopped the drop.
Yeah.
I took Bo Nix. Yeah.
I said, give me Trey Lance.
All right, you said I'm not going to like this pick to start the third round. Let's hear it.
Okay. And they were really
Third
not
and
good.
final round.
Yeah.
So this is Josie's third quarterback that he'll
Yeah.
take.
Do not do it.
Give me Drew Lock, dude.
Oh, thank God. All right.
Give me freaking Drew Lock. Here's the thing,
I
okay?
hate that less than I do the Trey Lance.
Yeah.
No, I don't like
No,
that.
Drew Lock
See,
looks
here-
good.
no,
I like
here's
Drew
the-
Lock.
He could win you 2 games.
I like
Here's the
Drew
thing about Drew Lock is he was drafted to the Broncos.
Wait, out of
okay?
17.
The Broncos for at least the last decade have had a bottom 5 offensive line. Their receivers are underachieving. Their offensive scheme is garbage. He's played a very small amount with the Seahawks, but when he did play and came in to spell Gino, when he came in to spell Gino this year, like he looked solid. I'm not gonna say like he's gonna come out here and be Joe Burrow or anything like that, but like he looked like he could sling the ball a little bit. There's a reason he was a 2nd round pick, right? Forever
Yeah.
ago. And I think that people got soiled on him based on like when he did the whole thing against Texas, when he did the whole coat like celebration, and then they went on to lose.
Look
like,
at the camera and do that again. All right.
yeah.
Wanted to make sure that was documented.
Yeah, exactly. So like I still think that there's a chance that Drew Lock could win you some games. I'm not saying he's going to be the reason that you win a playoff game, but I think he's good enough to take a team that has a good defense and some other pieces around him into the playoffs. So Drew Lock.
Christian, your final pick?
I'm going JJ McCarthy. I mean, I was between him and Bo Nix. I actually do believe the hype with him that he could have a higher ceiling than Caleb Williams. I believe it. If Harbaugh's saying that, and now a lot of scouts are saying that, I feel like he's showing something that he's there. And then I think he's a great leader too. I think that he's going to have to take some time, like a year or so, but I think he's going to be one of the top quarterbacks with Bo Nix.
It's a great pick.
No,
Great pick.
that was going to be my pick. I hate JJ McCarthy. I
I
don't
know
know
you don't like him.
I don't know why there's top 10 buzz around him right now. But I mean, at this point in the draft, I mean, obviously the upside, you're going to take that. If I wanted to stick along those same lines, I would go Michael Penix here. I'll save him and hope that Tim or Cooper go and grab him. Instead, I'm going to take a flyer on a guy who definitely won't be starting for his current team, but a guy who looked decent in his first 2 seasons in the league. I'm going to go Sam Howell. I would probably get him for a late round pick. I mean, the guy can run the ball, has a good enough arm. I'm going to go Sam Howell.
Also, when you're going to go Rattler, I was thinking about Rattler with my
Yeah.
pick too.
He's
Over
another
Penix?
Yeah. Wow. But that's
I
also
hate Rattler.
But that's also I don't like him either. Like personality wise, I think he's a punk. But also, I feel like it's funny that, and I don't know, maybe there's something with all those scouts going
I
on.
think it's funny.
Yeah.
That's why he
Listen,
Yeah,
Spencer
check him out.
Rattler is still living off of the video of him throwing the ball like 60 yards from his knees. Like the dude's got a massive arm, but like I don't know, his
Got a
career hasn't
massive
exactly
ego, too.
panned out. Yeah, his career hasn't panned out exactly the way it should have to be taken.
You don't know.
QB1 is the show he was on, right?
Yeah, he was such a douchebag.
Yes,
in
I
that
know.
show.
Yeah,
So a lot of good quarterbacks that are going to be not taken. Like I'm looking at the free agent stuff, and there's a lot of them that are not going to be taken. There's some bad quarterbacks that have been taken. Still hung up a little bit on Kyler Murray, but one of the good quarterbacks that are available, that will be available because of an injury, and the big guy coming back, 4-time MVP coming back. I'll take the man that took his place. Give me Zach Wilson. All day long. I'm a Zach Wilson guy. I'm a Zach Wilson fan. I think the Jets treat him awfully because I think Aaron Rodgers is incredible, and I think they know that they're going to have him back this year and everything. But I think you can get Zach Wilson incredibly cheap. He won not many games this year, but I think he's shown glimpses of being incredible. He hung in there with the Chiefs. You know what I mean? He gave them a good run for their money. I think if he has a team around him that is motivated to go win games and you kind of guide him in the right direction, you give him a coach like Mike Tomlin that the players all love, I think Zach Wilson could be a dog.
Well, he is a dog. That's the only thing I respect about his game is his MILF game. I mean, come on now. Like, it's the only thing that makes me like the guy even a little.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of quarterbacks that you could go here, like pick what is this, 13, 14, 15,
14.
yeah, 14. I think there's a lot of quarterbacks that could be right around there. But I think Zach Wilson's just like a personal favorite. I think if he's getting the right opportunity, I think he could really do something good.
Cooper, how are you going to conclude the draft?
Here, so I'm really between 3 players who I think who have a lot of the same attributes to contribute to a team. I think it's going to be, I'm between Mason Rudolph, Jacoby Brissett, and Gardner Minshew. But in the end, I'm going to go with Mason Rudolph just because of his end of season push towards the playoffs. Yeah, obviously he didn't make it far in the playoffs, but he made a good run at the end there towards the Bills. I mean, we can't forget about all of his big play throws down the field to George Pickens. Yeah, George Pickens does have some responsibility for those, but I think he was relatively clean. How many interceptions did he throw towards the end of the season? Not many.
I don't think any.
He might not have thrown a.
And I think his only one was like in the playoffs, and it
I'll
tipped
look it
off
up.
George Pickens.
The curl route into the end zone. That ball was underthrown.
I mean, he looked great.
Nightmare fuel talking about Mason Rudolph right now. Good guy. Great dude. Moms in Pittsburgh, big fans. They all love him. You put him in a Steelers jersey. I mean, I was at the game. I was at the game right before Christmas that they were chanting Mason Rudolph, singing Mason Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer with Mason. And, like they were going crazy for him. And you know what? I was there too. I was loving it. I was a Mason Rudolph fan. But it's the same thing of like you bring Cam Newton back to the Panthers and, I'm back to rushing touchdowns in his first game. And
That's it.
let me tell you what, he was not back.
Yeah.
Mason Rudolph should not be back in a starting position. I didn't even think of Gardner Minshew. I would go with Gardner Minshew 100 out of 100 times before I would go Mason Rudolph. TBH.
Yeah, Cooper.
I'm not
So it
going
looks
Cam
like-
Newton either because he just got jumped.
Yeah, I did. Yep.
So it looks like the stats on Mason for the regular season this year. He went 3-0. He went 3 touchdowns, no picks, and 719 yards. So decent numbers
not
for
bad.
3 games.
Not bad.
So,
What do you think his contract should be? I think like a 1 year, like $7
Nah, I bet
million
he-
deal
I bet he gets.
for the current quarterback market.
Where's he going? Where you think he's going? Not in Pittsburgh.
I think
Pittsburgh's not taking him.
I think his best option is Pittsburgh.
I think it is too.
I mean, Pittsburgh's got to take somebody, right? So if they're keeping Kenny, which I think they will, I think the most realistic option is they go get Russ, they go get Justin, or they keep Kenny. And if they keep Kenny, I think probably Mason's the backup there. I think Tomlin's going to then say like, oh, we don't know. We don't have a starter. They're going to fight for it in training. But I think it's going to be in that scenario, Mason would come in and just be the backup again. But I don't want that scenario. I think, we've had our time with Rudolph. It's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure. That playoff game was enough of Mason Rudolph for me.
Yeah, I'm a little higher on him than you. Don't get me wrong. I don't think he's a godsend or anything, but I've been pretty adamant that I want, with the Tomlin future kind of uncertain headed into next season, I kind of want to run it back with Mason and Kenny, let them compete, and then not make any huge quarterback decisions financially or through the draft, just because we don't know who the head coach calling the shots is going to be in 2025 and beyond.
Yeah, I don't think that's a bad choice. I think that's what's going to end up happening. Pittsburgh fans are going to be around draft day like, oh my God, here it is. Here's the day. Let's go get ourselves a QB, whether it's Russ or Fields or a draft, whatever. And then the Steelers just sit there and they sit there and they sit there.
not with the con artist.
And then
Not with the con artist. Not his style. Not his
Yeah.
style. Trade up for the guy you want.
But I think it's unrealistic, honestly, that we go up and get something. I think that's the most real option is that we stick around with Kenny and Rudolph.
Here's what the Steelers need to do. Okay. Cut ties with the guys they have. Sign Tyrod Taylor. Draft a guy in the first round. Wait for Tyrod to get hurt, and then you have a guy coming in. It happened with Josh Allen and the Bills. It happened with the Chargers and Justin Herbert. So, why not believe? Why not believe?
You're missing one team.
Baker Mayfield.
I don't want to talk about the Giants. Was it the Giants?
I was talking about the Texans because the
Texans,
same thing happened, and Davis Mills didn't end up being a
He
guy.
played decent. I mean, not great by any means.
I'm
but he
taking
played
Kenny
okay.
Pickett and Mason Rudolph over Davis Mills, dude.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. But no, that was a fun draft. Real quick, let's just recap who each of our 3 selections were. We'll come back to Cooper.
No, I got him.
You want me to
I'll
go all 3 now or just go across the line?
Go all 3 right now.
I went Caleb Williams, and then I went Drew Lock, and then I went Caleb Williams, and then Trey Lance, and then Drew Lock. That's what it was.
Christian?
I'm with Kyler
I love the
Murray,
faces.
Bo Nix. I'm with Kyler Murray, Bo Nix, and JJ McCarthy.
I went Drake May, Kirk Cousins, and Sam Howell.
Baker Mayfield, Justin Fields, Zach Wilson. Dogs.
Jaden Daniels, Russell Wilson, Mason Rudolph.
All right.
I think Kane has the best one.
Me?
I think Caden.
The fact that you got Kirk where you did is
Yeah.
the reason that you have
Yeah.
the best one.
Yeah,
Like
it's
that's
good
just
A lot of dudes that went unpicked up though from our list here. Unpicked up. That's not a thing, but a lot of dudes that are like technically available that didn't go. I was kind of surprised.
You want to run through some of them, Tim?
Geno Smith? I mean,
Yeah.
I thought about
I am kind of surprised at that. I'm happy with my picks. I don't think I'm taking Geno Smith, but I'm surprised that no one did. I think he gets a lot of good praise. Nobody wanted to give a shot to Mac Jones.
Nope.
Neither did I. All right,
McCorkle.
I was just saying because sometimes I hear people that are saying that Mac Jones could be something, and obviously out of the draft. I mean, next Tom Brady, everybody's saying they're going this perfect team for Mac Jones to go to, perfect pocket passer for Bill, but just didn't work out. I don't think it really will work out. Joe Flacco's too old. I think that was a good run from him. I don't think he's coming back.
Well.
That's unrealistic for me. Ryan Tannehill had talks for the Steelers, rumors going around. I might be a Browns fan if they pick him up. But I don't think Ryan Tannehill's doing anything crazy. So I'm not surprised to see him go anywhere. I'm happy to see Mitch Trubisky not go anywhere. I don't think he's that good either. He's made me very mad as a Steelers fan as well. Very happy when he was playing for other teams. I'll be happy if he goes somewhere else. So
back to the Bears.
yeah, cool with me.
Bears.
Cool with me. Anywhere but here.
Anybody surprised Jameis Winston wasn't taken?
I mean, you know how I
He's
think
a locker room
I
guy.
think he's better than Derek Carr. You know how I feel.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a bold.
Yeah.
From earlier
Is it really?
this season.
Yeah.
I just think, I mean, you know what you're going to get from Jameis Winston, but you're going to get 30-30. Like
Don't
you're
you
going to
know
get
what you're going to
an
get from
equal
Derek Carr
amount.
too? Not a playoff.
What's his
win,
contract
so-
right now? Where's he at?
MVP
What's he doing?
caliber.
What's Derek Carr up to? I think he's a good
Derek
pickup for
Carr
anybody too. I was a Derek Carr fan coming out of Las Vegas. Huge Derek Carr fan.
I was
The
high
year
on
where
the I was
Gruden
high
was
on
fired,
the
I
Saints
was
this
high
year.
on
Yeah.
him. But then after that, I cooled off real fast.
I was real high on the Saints going into this year. I said that they had a chance to be in like the top 3 of the NFC.
Well, I don't know about that, but no, I'm a big Derek
I'll
Carr
own
guy.
up to I was wrong. So I'll own up to that.
Yeah, I'm a Derek Carr fan. I think he's good. I think he gives you the same stuff that Jimmy G gives you.
Yeah.
I think he's a very similar player.
So speaking of just extremely hot takes, or in Josie's case, cold case.
Everybody has cold takes.
No,
Everybody.
You're right. You're right. Well,
Yeah, I just picked up Zach Wilson. So
You're right. Well, Josie also picked up Trey Lance.
yeah,
I mean-
yeah, true.
I like that. I'm sticking by Josie. I like
yeah,
that.
it's always a cold take till it's burning hot.
I mean, I like your Aaron Hernandez pick for
did.
going back to Christmas.
Back to Christmas episode, the Santa
Yeah.
draft.
Nice little plug for the Christmas episode. Go check it out. It holds up well. But Josie, you told me that you have some crazy blockbuster hypothetical trades that you want to see happen.
Yeah.
You want to share with me and the world right now?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I've talked about this one on the podcast before. I think that Dak to Atlanta makes a ton of sense. I just think that the haul that you have to give up for that to even happen, and then in addition to that, the talks of him getting a $60 million a year contract is just like, that's enough to scare away anybody. But Atlanta has shown that they're willing to trade to get the guy that they want. In my opinion, they were probably the front runner for Deshaun until Cleveland swept back in and stole him and gave him a fully guaranteed contract, basically. Or not basically, they did give him that. But yeah, I think Atlanta's willing to pay. I think that they have a good enough team where Dak could excel. They have a decent defense. They have a lot of offensive weapons. The line is okay. It's not great, but it's okay. But you could also shore some of that up in the draft / whatever. But I think that, I mean, minimum, if you're talking picks, like 3 firsts plus a player. I mean, maybe like even a Kyle Pitts or I don't know. Like,
yeah, I think Atlanta's I think Jerry Jones is super high on Dak. That's going to be the problem. There is they're going to pretty penny.
Sure, absolutely. And there was a interview where like you could really look at it either way, but Jerry Jones was saying something like Dak's future is not promised, and that basically like that he's been open that the team will go as far as Dak takes them. And what he said right after that is, and that's where we went. So like to me, leaving it open ended like that is like, okay, does Jerry Jones think that they're never going to win like past the first round of the playoffs? Like, and I'm big on Dak. I think that Dak has a ton of potential to win in the right situation. The question then becomes is like, does Jerry believe enough in him that like the Cowboys is the right situation? So But yeah, back to Atlanta, I think would be a huge blockbuster trade.
I think
You're talking about the face of the Dallas Cowboys getting traded away. Like that'd be wild.
Yeah, I agree. I think Atlanta's a quarterback away from being a really good team. I think Bijan's, if used properly, Bijan and Kyle Pitts could be a great 1-2 punch on
London, too.
offense. Yeah. Oh my God, Drake London. Yeah, I'm feel very good about that Atlanta team if they picked up a quarterback. Any of the quarterbacks we just talked about, if they went out and got some of them, I think you're looking pretty good. Atlanta with Baker Mayfield would be
Heck yeah.
a very good football team. I'd be pumped to watch it.
Probably not Trey Lance, though. Probably not.
Who knows? Maybe. I mean, you're talking about a Dallas Cowboys quarterback. Why not Trey Lance?
Anyone else?
Devontae Adams to the Jets.
What are they giving up?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's got to be.
I think he's at least
you
a
see
first,
what
no
Tom
matter what. Even
Telesco
though
said?
No, I didn't.
So today the Raiders
Yeah, I
GM
saw
did
that.
say that Devontae's a Raider, but I do like it, so I'll hear you out.
Okay, so obviously the Jets are going for the win now. Not win in the future, not win in 5 years. They want to win now because they don't know how much longer Rodgers is going to last. I mean, look at him this year. He played 4 snaps. So they want to win next year.
True.
And I think Devontae Adams really gives them that best chance, especially with Garrett Wilson being the wide receiver 2 on that team would be awesome. And then Breece Hall also coming out of the backfield, not just as a runner, but as a receiver as well.
Yeah, it is a good pick. With Rodgers there, that connection obviously is still there. And it's seemingly with the Jets too. If Rodgers wants something to happen, it'll happen. So if he's like, hey, go get him, then it seems like they might. That's not a bad get for them, honestly.
The only question is, what number would we wear? Because Garrett Wilson's already 17.
No,
Garrett
he
Wilson
switched
switching
to
to
5. He switched
Oh,
to
he
that's
5.
said
right,
yeah,
he
pulled up T.
did.
Higgins and say he's
He
switching.
did switch. That's right.
Working
I
out
completely
perfect.
Forgot about that. Yeah, there you go.
Script goes crazy.
Yeah.
My trade's kind of a stupid trade, but I just got an update about T. Higgins that the Bengals are willing to trade him. So I just thought of this. They trade T. Higgins to the Bears, and they give up at least 2 or 3 and say, screw it, keep Marvin Harrison Jr. in Ohio and draft Marvin Harrison Jr., have Jamar him, and hopefully they can bring back Taj.
So what pick would you're talking pick 9 from the Bears?
Tyler. No, pick number 1.
For T. Higgins straight up 1-1?
Did you not hear
No, I
me?
did not hear it. No, sorry.
That's what I thought.
I missed that second
T.
part. of what you
Higgins
said.
and at least 2 or 3 first rounders.
2 or 3. Okay.
Okay.
Just say,
Okay.
screw it.
That makes more. Okay.
Yeah. What realistically? What's the trade value here for the number 1 pick?
More
If you're
than-
going for it,
They're
like
talking a lot more than last year. they're
Yeah,
saying.
it has to be more than last
But every
year.
hypothetical hasn't been like more than last year, we feel like, because we went over that a couple episodes ago.
That's why it
Yeah,
hasn't
we
been
did-
traded. That's why it
and-
hasn't been traded away.
I think you.
But also, I think it's because people aren't high on Caleb Williams.
I bet they
I
still
think
are.
people are
He's
more
arguably
high on
the
Caleb than
greatest
Bryce.
quarterback prospect of all time.
Trevor Lawrence was good coming out.
Trevor
too.
Lawrence
Everybody
and
was
Andrew
crazy
Luck.
on him.
Andrew
Joe
Luck, John
Burrow,
Elway.
Tim Tebow.
No,
Kenny Pickett.
There's a point.
as one of the greatest QB
Greatest
prospects.
college quarterbacks.
I said QB prospects.
Prospect,
not
yeah.
I think
I got
T-Law and
you.
Andrew Luck had. I don't think Caleb is going to top the best QB prospect.
I don't know. If you
I think
could-
there's more of a clear-cut number 1 pick this year. That's why
Yeah.
it's more.
How many firsts you trading to go get him? 3, 4?
I'm
not even giving
three with a player?
I'm not even giving up 3, but that's also because I'm just believing more in what the scouts are saying from former scouts. That
Yeah.
They just don't like him.
Yeah, I'm not going to get him. I mean, with the Steelers, I'm not going to get him. I think a lot of teams might try it, though. I just think the asking price is going to be too big for a rookie quarterback who, if you're trying to win now,
Yeah, like
don't go
like
get
you
him.
said, you're
If
putting
you're-
them
if
in
you're
a
trying
horrible
to win-
situation. Like Washington, you're screwed. You
Yeah.
don't have an O-line. You only have Terry McLaurin.
So if I'll throw a hypothetical out there. So if you are a team that's a quarterback away from being a really good team, like we said, the Atlanta Falcons could potentially be, and you could potentially be a win now team, are you trading away 3 firsts then? In that situation where like you could get the greatest quarterback of a generation.
That's if I'm a team
like,
who like almost made the playoffs this year. And I don't
which they
think-
did. The Falcons did. They were like a
Then
couple
yeah, if
games
I was
away.
the Falcons, I would do it.
I'd
maybe
love to
one
see
and
the
a half.
Falcons.
But
go
like
get
I'm
Caleb
like if I'm
Williams.
Wouldn't that be
a
great?
team that's
Like-
willing to do that, it's like if I'm in pick like 15 to like 18 area where like we almost made him, we're quarterback way. I'm only doing that because it's not that much to me.
Because it's like you're really taking your job in your hands a little bit as a GM. Because if it works out, that's great. You're looked at as the genius, and you did what you needed to do to get the guy you wanted. And if it doesn't work out, you just mortgaged your future for a guy that's
You
going to be a
like
bust.
basically have to spend all your money on free agency to build.
That's why it's so hard to be a GM in the NFL.
And I think that's why Ryan Poles' decision whether or not he stays at 1 and drafts a quarterback or sticks with the route of Justin Fields is a simple one. Would you rather go out swinging with a quarterback of your choice, one that you drafted, your hands were on him the whole entire time? Or would you rather go with a guy who the previous regime picked? And obviously you're going to want to go out with your guy. It's not exactly a good feeling knowing, hey, my one chance at being an NFL GM was blown because of someone else's quarterback.
Who's their new OC?
valid.
The Bears. It wasn't Seattle sold one because JSN says something about not liking the old OC.
Shane Waldron. Yeah, it is Shane Waldron.
I was just trying to think because I'm trying to think of scheme.
If the Bears pick Caleb Williams, what do they do with Justin Fields? They trade him?
Yeah, I think.
I think
I mean,
Fields
you-
gets
then-
traded within the next 2 weeks.
Then the Bears could really look like a good team all of a sudden. They get Caleb Williams, they get the guy, and they get some trade stuff with Justin Fields. You know, I think they could come out if they do it properly, could come out, you know, looking pretty good, but it's also the Bears.
Yeah.
Realistically, what are they going to do other than, you know, keep number 1 and draft a D lineman from Pitt, you know?
There's talk about Fields potentially getting traded this weekend after the combine stuff. Which, because I saw the notification, I was like, oh, at the combine, that's going to be later this month. And I was like, dude, the combine's this weekend. That came up so
There's
fast.
2 days left in February.
Yeah, that's insane. That's nuts. But yeah, so there's talk about at the combine, there might be conversations about a Justin Fields trade. And that could be when it like officially starts. But
You ready to go back with Tyler?
We'll see if you guys like this one. If you could live like in any era in the past, what would it be? And you could be like location too. Like you could say like Greek time or I don't know, something like that.
Roman Empire.
I don't get the whole Roman Empire thing. I never.
You don't think about the Roman Empire a lot?
No.
See, like, I
I
probably
don't get
do
the
like
meme.
once a week.
I'm a meme guy,
Yeah.
and I don't get the meme.
Not to sidetrack with too much with this, but like I think about the effects of the Roman Empire more than I think about the actual Roman Empire. Like,
But no,
the
that
fact
counts,
that
though.
like
That
our
counts.
architecture was framed by the Roman Empire, and like so much of history
would've
was
figured it
formed
out
by
eventually.
such a small. We would have figured it out. It'd be fine. Jet fuel doesn't melt steel beams. It's fine.
It'd be funny if you did your cross like.
Yeah, but like how much of history was shaped by such a short period of time? I mean, short period of time of what the Roman Empire was. I think about that.
I think
nerd.
it's Alamo.
Remembering the 5th of November. So.
Good movie. Realistically, I think about the Roman Empire more than actual people would think. When that came out, dude, I was like,
It's like
wait a minute, I
true.
just thought about it 2 days before this. This is weird. Like, it's just like a cool time. You know, it's like, it looked sick. The sword fights and stuff. Like, it's like,
So the dudes were men.
yeah, you know what I mean?
yeah.
It's like a, yeah, it's, you know, it's cool.
Yeah.
It's
and
cool. I
like-
did think about it actually a lot.
TV shows like fictionalized or like documentaries on like Roman and like Greek like,
video
gods
games.
and like all that stuff is like super entertaining to me. Like
Yeah.
I would love to watch like a mockumentary on something like that.
You say mockumentary?
Yeah, that's what it's
Yeah.
called.
Yes, I haven't heard that word.
Because it's like actors.
On. He was like,
I was like, I never.
He's still mad about the Aaron Donald.
I've actually never heard that before. I'm not even mad about that.
No, I'm a big. I play this game on PlayStation, Chivalry 2, and it's just like it's swords
Sponsor
and
us. Shout out.
swords. It's
Raid
it's like
Shadow
that.
Legends.
No, it's like that. You know, sword fighting, third person, first person thing. I'm like, yeah, this is a sick time period to be about. So like all the video games and movies and stuff, I'm all about that. But Wild West was sick too. You know, run around being a cowboy. That's a cool time. The only thing that you like,
Yeah, but
you're like,
everyone's
whoa, these are like,
smells.
yeah, that's the problem. Is like,
Yeah.
oh, it's such a cool time. It could have been like a
Disease.
gunslinger. Yeah, diseases. Food was probably awful. Where am I getting a fillet? You know, nowhere.
Yeah.
You go hunt for it.
You have
Yeah,
to make your own.
yeah. You know, like realistically, it's like an awful time. So I think right now is like the best time to live, but like, you know, the coolest.
Yeah, I think that there's positive and negative to basically
Anytime,
that you would. Like I was thinking like, oh, the Vikings would be cool, but then at the same time, it's like the way that they pillaged and just did
Ooh.
all kinds of nasty stuff, like
horrible things.
terrible, horrible things. Like I don't like the Vikings in general are cool, but like the things that they did are not.
Yeah, you
like
dig
that-
deeper into what it was like, and it's like,
Go Scotland,
Yeah.
Vikings.
yeah, realistically, you're picking a time. It's like the '80s. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like not that
was
long
one of
ago.
my-
Well, I was
Yeah.
gonna say 70s, so I could like feel what it was like to be a dynasty as a Steelers fan. But then I remembered Vietnam was happening.
Yeah.
So that kind of was a turnoff for me.
Yeah.
So
Well, 70s, any of us could have made it in the NFL. So
Here we go, or the NBA. You know, call me.
Terry Bradshaw, who? I mean,
yeah, that's right.
I could have thrown the ball to Lynn Swan and Joan Stallworth.
Yeah, and handed it off to Franco.
Yeah, Franco and Rocky in
R.I.P..
the backfield.
Send me back to early 2020. You know.
2016, you can stop Harambe's death.
Yeah,
That's it.
there it is.
Cooper, you're being awful
I know.
quiet over there. What do
I'm
you
really
think?
weighing my options here. I really feel like I go back to. I feel like I go to 2015. Just for no reason.
A time that you
No.
lived.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't want to go back to those times. It's just
You don't want to go back to a time before you were alive?
That was when
Not
Cooper
really.
peaked 7th grade. So,
Yeah, it was,
Yeah.
it's crazy. It's a
With
crazy. choice.
the what was it, like football cards videos on YouTube or something?
yep. Coops Cards 38.
okay. Go ahead and plug,
Plug,
it.
plug.
All right.
Coops Cards 38.
You got,
Please
like,
go
the intro with
subscribe.
The drone and everything.
Yup.
Right. Yeah.
On the road to 30 subscribers, I think we are now. Yeah.
After how many years?
Well, I haven't posted in
Well, I
like
know, but-
7.
7.
You know it's bad when
I
the
think
second
y'all
is
are
short
gonna
font
find
has
me
more
for mine.
subscribers
What?
than you.
I think y'all are gonna make fun of me for mine.
No, just do it.
Probably.
always-
Just say it.
I've always wanted to go back in time when like the wars, like Civil War,
Like
stuff
40s.
like that.
Oh, cool
like
time. Yeah.
World War II, and all that. I just want to know, like, actually,
Like, see it for yourself.
like see it, like know what it actually felt like to be involved in something like that.
So you get drafted
Or
if
like,
you go back
or
to
like be like,
Yeah,
in the
don't
war,
go back too
like,
far.
like
You're
it sounds
gonna get
gruesome,
picked
but
up.
like I want to, like I feel bad what they went through. Like I want to know like what they went through. With
No, you know what? Yeah, send me back to 1941, bro. I want to be the number one pick in a draft. You know what I mean? There it is.
what I'm saying.
It's not working out for me in the NFL, not in the NBA, MLB, NHL. I'm not the number one pick anywhere. You send me back to 41
Hey, don't
Yeah.
give up. There's
with
not
the number
enough
one
film
pick
out.
in the 1941 draft.
There's not enough film out
Yeah,
on you yet. Just
true.
like
That's
Trey
true.
Lance, you might still make it in the
Yeah,
NFL.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Without film.
Yeah,
Could be
that's a
that
good
guy.
point. That's a good point.
So
Do you
everybody-
make it past the war or do you die in the war?
Well, well, it depends on
Are
the
you gonna
skill.
be like
As
a
a number
Bryce
one
Young?
pick, I mean, as a number one
Gotta
pick,
go
I'm
out with
expecting
a
that I'm going to do
bang.
something good. You know what I mean? Longevity. But as number one picks go in a lot of drafts, I'm probably bouncing after 2 years.
Yeah.
So
You could play for the Steagles.
yeah, yeah.
If you dodge the draft or something like that.
Well,
Dodge one.
he's the top pick in the draft.
Yeah, true.
I don't know.
Number
Just
one
like-
overall.
Just like go wherever Bill Clinton goes.
Yeah.
And then you can just dodge the draft. So
Maybe not everywhere
Have to
he
mention
goes.
something political, right?
I mean, with your baseball arm, you'd be good at the grenades.
Yeah, there it is.
Yep.
Come on.
That might be your biggest attribute there.
You'd be out there looking like Buddy the Elf from that snowball scene. Heck yeah, dude. That's
You
right.
know CGI?
What?
Like
Yeah.
the
Yeah. His arm was CGI.
his arm
or?
was CGI.
Oh, I thought you meant the snowballs. I was like, yeah, buddy. Yeah.
His arm was CGI.
Nice.
That's disappointing.
Yeah, a little bit.
Way to just ruin my childhood, Luke.
Yeah, sorry, it's brutal reality.
I'm never gonna watch the Elf again.
Did you know that he was not actually an elf too?
Oh gosh. I was gonna say,
He's
did
an
you know
actor.
Star
Will
Wars
Ferrell.
was CGI?
It's Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
You know, I always thought that they looked alike.
Yeah.
Did everybody answer them? Is that everybody?
I think so, yeah.
I know I have a better one. It's just I can't.
Why 2015?
I don't know. I was.
That's just.
You know, I can't.
I
really
cracked under
picture
pressure.
Cooper in any like decade besides now. Like
you would
he'd
have.
be dead in an instant.
Yeah, you would have been shot.
Yeah.
I mean,
I have a better answer. Go back to before the 2008 housing crisis and like make a ton of money off it, like that movie.
Like Bernie Madoff.
And
you
but
try to
that's a
pull, like,
Ponzi
Back to
scheme.
the Future. And
Yeah.
just like go bet
Maybe.
on sports.
Go get the almanac.
Yeah.
Bet on the Eagles winning the Super Bowl before that season even starts, because they've never done it before.
Yeah.
So,
Bet on Joe Burrow winning the Heisman like his dad did. Just cash in.
dude, go back and bet on at the beginning of the season. Bet on Nick Foles being Super Bowl MVP.
Oh yeah.
That'd probably be crazy. Yeah.
That would
bet on
imagine.
Carson Wentz
Put the
getting hurt.
put next month's mortgage payment on Nick Foles to win.
You like accidentally kick a pebble and it like changes the
Oh
bets.
gosh.
Butterfly effect.
Yeah.
Let's see what we do.
Yeah. It's,
We lost that.
Lost the house. But he was also
Or
millions
you
of
could go back
dollars.
to when Christopher Columbus sailed to.
This is gonna be so
1942.
controversial.
1942.
Jeez, what was that?
That was a lot.
1492.
He was ready.
wait,
for
you
You could be
But
the
you-
founder
Yeah.
of the United States of America.
That's not what he is.
Okay, but you could.
He also did some
You're
sketch
right,
stuff,
but
for being honest.
Yeah.
I would be Cooper Columbus.
This dude.
Yeah.
You realize it's not all pilgrims and
You know, this episode had so much potential, and then
Went off the rails a little.
yeah, Josie takes a phone call, and it just
Yeah, I flipped the
Also-
switch.
yeah, it was a hard drop right from there.
Christopher
Columbus.
didn't. Christopher Columbus.
That might be
didn't
better than
discover-
float,
There's
dude.
a Viking named Leif Erikson who discovered America. So
They have a day after him.
Christopher Columbus'
Discovered
real
SpongeBob.
name was Cristofo Colombo.
No, it wasn't.
Really?
Is it
No, it wasn't. Come on. No, it
I swear, look
wasn't.
it up right now.
Cristofo Colombo. Is that what you
So
said?
I know in Spain they pronounce his name Cristobal. I do know that, but that's
That's not his name. That's the guy who did Chris Columbus. Okay, he directed Home Alone. Okay, he didn't found America. Okay, no, that's the. I have to put Christopher. Okay. Oh my God, it's right.
oh my gosh,
Cristoforo
it's right.
Colombo.
Oh yeah, I said Christopher.
Cooper Colombo.
That's crazy.
He looks a lot different than I would have ever pictured.
Yeah,
think
I
I've
don't
ever
remember
seen a
seeing that in
picture.
the history book.
Hey, yeah, you want to look like that?
From
I
Spain.
don't remember seeing that. It's funky. I kind of like it though. That hat, I might rock it. It's like
Here, show it to the camera. Show
Yeah.
it to the camera. We gotta.
ooh. I might rock it actually. I might go buy the Cristofo Colombo
His face.
special. Yeah.
Tomorrow in class, I expect that haircut
Yeah.
and the hat.
Yeah, there it is. I'm gonna show up just like that. Get ready to meditate.
Somebody say something football. We're losing listeners by the second.
But there's the thing: we might be gaining listeners.
Yeah, that's a good point. Hey, Kenny Pickett ever win a Super Bowl?
No,
I think he wins 3. No, he doesn't win 3. He wins 2. Realize he loses the third time he goes.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I'd like to see him.
Well, yeah,
keep him.
he's gonna play his whole entire
If-
career with
Yeah,
us.
Yeah, all 30
if
years
they
of it.
do hold on to him, and I think they will, I think he has a good year this year. And all like realistically, I think they don't go out and get anybody. I think he has a good year. They re-sign him for a couple more, and I think they go on a run before T.J. Watt leaves. Before, or right around the time Cam Hayward's about to go, I think they go on a run.
Love
Before
to see it.
Aaron Donald goes because he's on his
Right.
way to the Steelers.
Yeah,
JJ's coming back. JJ's playing for the Steelers.
JJ, Aaron Donald, and Cam Hayward.
I mean Tyler Boyd.
Hines Ward isn't in the Hall of Fame. Give him one more run at the Super Bowl.
Amen.
But then he has to wait 5 more years.
Yeah.
Bring 7 back too. We can have a 2 QB system. Why not?
Yeah,
You know who should bring 7
Troy
back
can
is
play on special
the Cardinals, and then he can play starting after when Call of Duty comes out.
yeah, there it
For
is.
Kyler, there you go.
He's got just as good as arm
The
right
Steelers
now.
trade for Kyler, and then they bring back 7.
They actually,
If
realistically,
we
probably
get
got the same
Kyler, we're gonna
stats in
be-
Madden this year. I would think.
I
Sitting on
Kyler Murray, Ben Roethlisberger probably have the same stats in Madden. I would say so.
same speed rating.
Same speed rating.
Ben Roethlisberger has a podcast.
Yeah, he does.
Does.
Footballing.
That's good. Football and Ben. Yeah. He's had some serious Steelers interviews on there. Some good ones. So
Yeah, yeah. I know he had Tomlin on
Before
there.
we knew he was an adulter. You don't? We'll fill you in.
look up the book he sent to us.
All right, maybe the most chaotic episode, but also maybe one of the most fun episodes we've had at the Second Short podcast. Tim, thank you for joining
course.
us. We'd love to have you back on.
Anytime.
absolutely.
We do have some other exciting news. Brian Milne, former Penn State and NFL fullback. We did interview him. We'll be getting that published out to you guys soon. Also, some more exciting guests. Tim will be back on.
Wait, more exciting? Like more exciting than
me.
I mean,
I didn't bring much.
An owner of 2 Chick-fil-A restaurants.
Yeah, you can't get much better than that. If he
Yeah.
brings the sauce, literally, then I think you guys are pretty good. So.
I like that.
But stay up to date on all of our socials. TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and Spotify. All the links are in our bios. This has been the Second and Short podcast. We'll see you next week.